Let me paint you a picture. You're sitting in traffic, probably stressed about bills, mortgage payments, maybe wondering if you should have bought that cheaper car. And then boom, a Land Rover Defender rolls past. Then another, then another. It's like someone opened a portal and these things just keep appearing. Last year alone, Land Rover sold over 17,000 Defenders in the UK. 17,000. That's more than Skoda sold of their most popular model. More than you see Nissan Qashqais in some areas. And trust me, Qashqais are everywhere. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is something that kept me up at night. The cheapest Defender you can buy costs £57,000. The cheapest one. The car I'm testing? £96,000. That's not a typo. 96 grand for a car that most owners will use to drop kids at school and pick up groceries. Something doesn't add up, right? Now, before you click away thinking this is just another boring car review, let me tell you what happened when I actually started living with this thing. Because there's a secret about the Defender that dealerships won't tell you, that other reviews conveniently skip over, and that current owners are either too embarrassed or too proud to admit. And it has nothing to do with how it drives or how much stuff you can fit in the back. It's something far more important, something that could save you thousands or cost you even more, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with what happened on my first day with this car. I picked up this Defender 110 on a Tuesday morning, Sedona edition, if you care about that sort of thing. The dealer was all smiles, showing me the features, the fancy screen, the leather seats. Everything looked perfect, felt perfect. I drove off the lot feeling like I just made the smartest decision of my life. And then I went to the supermarket. Just a normal Tuesday trip to Tesco. Parked the car, grabbed my shopping list, walked to the boot to make sure I had my bags, and that's when I discovered the first problem. The tailgate. Oh boy, the tailgate. You see, this spare wheel hanging on the back looks cool, right? Very retro, very Defender. Everyone loves it, except when you actually need to use the boot. Because that spare wheel is so heavy, they couldn't hinge the door at the top. So instead, it swings out from the side, like a massive gate. And I'm standing there in this Tesco car park trying to open this door, and I need about 2 meters of space behind me. 2 meters. The car behind me was too close. I couldn't open the boot. I'm standing there looking like an absolute idiot. But here's what really bothered me. And this is the part that started making me question everything. I looked around that car park and I counted 6 other Defenders. 6. All parked nose in, every single one. Because they all knew. They'd all learned this lesson already. And I thought, how many other things am I going to discover the hard way? How many other little secrets are hiding in this £96,000 purchase? That question haunted me for weeks. And trust me, I found the answers. Some of them you'll see coming. Others, they're going to blindside you just like they blindsided me. Let me tell you about the 3 models first, because this is where most people make their first mistake. There's the Defender 90, which is about 4.3 meters long, cute, compact, very trendy. Then there's this one, the Defender 110, which is 45 centimeters longer. And finally, there's the absolute beast, the Defender 130, which stretches to 5.2 meters. That's longer than some buses. Now, common sense tells you to get the smallest one if you're mainly doing city driving, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. And here's why. The Defender 90 has a boot smaller than a Volkswagen Golf. Let that sink in. You're paying £57,000 minimum for a car with less boot space than a family hatchback that costs 25 grand, but people still buy it. Why? Because it looks cool. Because their neighbor has one. Because they saw it on Instagram. And this is exactly the kind of decision that leads to regret. The kind of decision that has you lying awake at night wondering what you were thinking. The 110, which is what I'm testing, is the sweet spot. Or so I thought. It's got space, it's got presence, it can seat 7 people if you spec it right. But even this has issues. Big issues. Issues that became crystal clear after my 3rd week of ownership. I was taking my family to the coast for a weekend trip. 4 of us plus luggage. Should be easy, right? This is a massive SUV. Except when I opened that side-swinging tailgate and looked at the actual boot space, I felt my stomach drop. It's not that big. Like, genuinely not that big. Yeah, there's a nice square opening. No lip to lift bags over. That's great. But the actual depth, disappointing. An Audi Q7 has more space. A Land Rover Discovery has more space. Even some smaller SUVs can swallow more luggage. And I'm standing there thinking, what exactly am I paying for here? Now, there's this optional side box you can get. Hangs on the exterior. Gives you 24 extra liters of storage. The idea is you put muddy boots in there, wet coats, whatever you don't want in the main boot. Sounds practical. But here's what I actually used it for. And this tells you everything about who really buys these cars. Wine. I used it for wine. Drove to France, loaded it up with bottles, used the netting to stop them rattling. Because, let's be honest, how many Defender owners are actually trudging through mud? How many are doing serious off-roading? Maybe 5%? Maybe? The rest of us are living in cities, driving on tarmac, pretending we need all this capability while we're really just trying to look a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not judging. I'm one of them. But let's at least be honest about it. The thing is, under that rugged exterior, under all that off-road capability and retro styling, there's something most people don't realize until it's too late. Something the sales brochures gloss over. Something I'm about to reveal that's going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about this car. But first, I need to tell you about what's under the hood. Because this is where things get really interesting. And expensive. Very, very expensive. This particular Defender has the D350 diesel engine, 350 brake horsepower. Sounds impressive, right? It is. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's got power everywhere, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds, which is genuinely fast for a car this size. There's also a D250 with 250 horsepower, which costs about 4,000 pounds less. Both have mild hybrid technology, both are good engines. But here's the part nobody tells you before you buy. The fuel economy. Oh, the fuel economy. I've done over 3,000 miles in this car now. 3,000 miles of real-world driving. Mixed roads, city traffic, motorways, country lanes. And you know what I'm averaging? 28 miles per gallon. 28! The official figure is low 30s. I'm not even hitting that. Do the math on that. With fuel prices the way they are, you're talking serious money just to run this thing. And before you say, well, what did you expect from a big SUV? Let me stop you right there. Because there are other big SUVs that do better, significantly better. The BMW X7 can hit mid-30s easily. The Audi Q7 can touch 40 if you're gentle. So why is the Defender so thirsty? The shape. That beautiful, iconic, boxy shape. It cuts through the air like a brick. There's so much wind noise at motorway speeds that you'd think the windows were cracked open. And all that drag means the engine has to work harder, which means it drinks more fuel, which means you're stopping at petrol stations more often, which means you're spending more money. See how this adds up? But people don't think about this stuff when they're sitting in the showroom. They're thinking about how good they'll look, how their friends will react, how it will photograph for social media. And I get it. I really do. Because this car does look fantastic. 5 years since it launched and the styling hasn't changed at all. Because it doesn't need to. It's timeless. Like the Fiat 500, like the Mini, like any good retro design. You look at it and you just know it's special. For 2026, there are a few updates. New headlight signature, revised bumpers, smoked taillights, but the core design, untouched. And that's smart, because if they changed it too much, they'd lose what makes it special. But here's where we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The massive, uncomfortable elephant that's been sitting here this whole time. And it's not the fuel economy. It's not the awkward tailgate. It's not even the price. It's something far more serious. Something that should make every potential buyer stop and think very carefully before signing that check. Reliability. There, I said it. The R word. Land Rover's reputation for reliability is, let's be kind here, not great. Not great at all. In the most recent surveys, Land Rover came 27th out of 31 brands. 27th. That's almost dead last. And we're not talking about cheap cars here. We're talking about premium vehicles costing 60, 70, 80, 100,000 pounds. Cars that should be bulletproof at that price point. But they're not. Land Rovers break. They break a lot. Electrical gremlins, suspension issues, engine problems, transmission troubles. You name it, someone's had it. And the repair costs? Don't even get me started. Because when a Land Rover breaks, it doesn't break cheap. You're looking at specialist technicians, expensive parts, long waits for repairs. It's a nightmare. Or at least that's what I thought. That's what everyone thinks. But here's the twist. The Defender is different. In that same reliability survey where Land Rover placed 27th overall, the Defender was actually the most dependable Land Rover model. The most dependable. Not just okay, not just acceptable, the best one they make. It came in second place among all 7-seaters, beaten only by the Hyundai Santa Fe. Second place from Land Rover. I know, right? When I first saw those numbers, I thought there had to be a mistake, but I dug deeper, talked to owners, read forums, checked independent data, and it's true. The Defender seems to be genuinely more reliable than Land Rover's other models. Now, that doesn't mean it will never break. That doesn't mean you won't have issues.